I got the opportunity to have a short story published. It was for a book that had a series of stories. But thanks to my family and friends, I never got published. But I am bound and determined to get this story heard one way or another. I apologize now if I cry, as I have not been able to fully read this story without breaking down a tiny bit. Sorry, but not sorry if you cried too. That means it did its job. So for your listening pleasure, I give to you Make Me Go Away by Ronda Mills. A devoted wife and mother for decades discovered that her body was dying. Every day that passed, she felt the pain. Every month, one more thing in her body began to fail. She could feel it in her bones. She could feel it in her soul, that she did not have long. She started with pushing away friends. Conversations on the phone and hanging out were few and far between, then none at all. Pushing away everything she loved but her family so that she could cherish their every moment together. Every day she packed away a little bit of herself, removing a couple of items a day and putting it into a box, crying each time she told it goodbye. The memories tearing into her and the thought of what was to become of her family once she was gone. Items she locked away were things that only meant something to her. Things that would be given to her child when they moved out on their own. What they did with them, she didn't care, for she would never know once she was gone. She looked at the pictures on the walls, reminiscing of the memories of when those pictures were taken. How healthy she looked, how much her husband loved her, and how her child had grown over the years. She grabbed her chest and fell to her knees in pain, tears pouring down her face onto her legs. What will happen to them once she is gone, she thought. Then she wondered if she should take down the portraits that have her in them. Looking at them would only make their hearts scream, like hers was at the moment. But she decided it would be their decision as to what was to be done with those. As the months wore on, every day she looked for something new to put in the box. And every day she found less and less things to collect. Wishing that she could Control-Alt-Delete the day of her passing, erasing everything that would remind them of her. But she knew that was not possible. So she started to leave tiny notes in only areas that they would find that read, "I love you." When alone, she would cry. She would cry for her husband. She would cry for her child. She would cry that she was going to miss the rest of their lives and being with them. Praying to God that He will make this transaction easy for them. It hurt her so to make herself go away, but it would hurt her family less to put her things away. With all her stuff boxed up, it made it easier for her family to let her go. No physical items, aside from the portraits laid around the home that they had made together. All that was left was for them to donate her clothes to a second-hand store and have her cremated. Her wish was to be that her ashes be tossed in the ocean, bag, box, and all. She did not even want a grave, as a grave would be yet another item to remember her by. All she wanted was to be forgotten, and as she started the process for them to save them from the pain, the last words whispered from her lips into their ears were, "I love you, and don't mourn me."